Check, check one, check two. Add the check, add the check, add the check. Johnny Million is checking it too.
Check any check. Check out 1, 2.
All right, and I see.
Check out 2.
Go live on the thing. Excellent. Okay, cool. So HSRPM. I know it's a rudimentary title, but I'm working on it bit by bit. Hey, there he is, Johnny Million. Look at that. I don't. Yeah, I'm not a huge like my favorite. My only Cure song that I can stand is from The Crow.
Oh yeah, that's a great song.
I love that song, and it's it. I was like, somebody needs to do. Metallica needs to do a cover of that song, like one of those kind of
that would be good.
where they did a budgie song. By the way, I have you inserted in some sort of digital waterfall in this circumstance. I literally like it seems to work. I guess we'll yeah.
I like it.
Moon Girl says Hal is allowed to be wrong. You can't be wrong about your own musical tastes.
Yeah.
You cannot. I got news for everybody. We are none of us are 8th graders. You're allowed to like what you like. I'm giving you permission, everybody.
Except you, and you know what you did.
That's right. All right, hold on one second. That would be... Okay, I heard a sound effect there. And then... Oh, the Stream Deck doesn't have one. That's right. Hold on. I'm going to wait. I'm hoping Chicago chimes back in and their audio is okay. Because I don't need... Hey, good.
The way you were talking, I saw you heard us. I didn't know you were trying to still test. You hear me, though, clearly?
You sound great.
Can I get a
clearly?
Excellent.
No.
Yep. Hold on.
It's fun watching Nikki Sixx put his foot in it on Blabbermouth on a daily basis.
Is that what he's been doing?
Oh yeah, he talks about how they're 100% live.
Oh dear.
Have you seen any clips? It's like they just hit play on a laptop. Vince hasn't given that sounded that good in 45 years.
Yeah, there's no way. No way. He doesn't even sing the
conjunctions. 4 strokes.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, in the world of like, that's just him trying to keep up with Nikki's heroin overdoses. I mean, that is a stroke is a poor man's heroin overdose, I think, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
I'm no scientist, but in their case, it's the Hey Guys Wait Up of heroin overdoses in that band.
Yeah,
yeah. Let me see. Okay, yeah. Now I've got to go in. Hi, everybody. Thank you for liking the stream and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to try and please work, you crazy thing today. I'm keeping it really simple today. I'm not going to try and throw too much stuff in because I'm rebuilding
60 seconds, gents.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hit the like, share the show, etc., etc. And the Major's going to be joining us, I think, during the second segment.
Oh, that's cool.
Because we have good news about his race. Being white. No, his congressional race. Yeah, good news.
Good news, you're white.
It's okay to be white.
Things are going to
Don't
work
worry
out.
about it. Yeah, dude. I don't know where the right-wing panic about that comes from, but...
Christmas is not canceled.
That's right. Yeah, we'll just open by saying... That's right. We're going to open the show just by saying Merry Christmas from now on.
We're careful. We are not allowed to say that.
We're not allowed. No, we're not. It's
no longer July, guys.
That's right. You can't do Christmas in July. You can't do Christmas ever. So we're going to say Merry Holidays just to irritate people.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Now, live from Chicago, the Hal Sparks radio program mega worldwide.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Hal Sparks, actor, comedian, and multimedia personality.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hal Sparks.
All right, let's do this.
Well, Johnny Million, I don't know how your week went, but you certainly didn't get a Christy Gnome this week where you got a statue unveiled in your honor.
No, Christy Gnome got a statue?
Yeah, a big bronze statue in her home state.
Not even gold, though.
No, well, you know, bronze. It's gold-ish, I think is the right. That's how they sell it, like back in the day when they discovered bronze, they're like, it's gold-ish. Yeah, come on. There's a lot more of it. So it's her and half a horse. And before anybody jumps to it, I'm just going to say wrong half. Okay. Like it's a whole horse and she's the other half. I don't know how they're doing this, but it is this weird, like, it's like this. She's walking a horse out of wooden Narnia. I have full disclosure. There are very few things I have like odd issues with. I'm just going to share. I'm going to overshare right out of the gate.
These are things that give you ick?
Yeah, I don't like the touch of lace. I never have. Right. I don't like the texture of it. It makes my
it's startlingly rough.
Yes, and it makes it makes me like my breath heavy. Makes me like kind of feel like I'm raspy in breath when I touch it. I don't know what it is. I'm going with 3 lifetimes ago, probably suffocated.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether something along those lines, right?
I have a similar thing with popsicle sticks, but I associate it with tongue depressors.
Sure. Well, the edge of the flat edge of the popsicle stick has like that almost splintering, right? Almost, right? That's the.
Why is it okay for me to put this wood in here?
That's right. What? Hey now.
Hello.
So the one of the other things is that I don't like half statues. I don't like, especially if people.
Can we call them busts?
Yes, I don't like busts, but I also don't like statues that are missing arms. I mean, I understand if they lost them because time has passed. I'm okay with those.
Yeah, Venus de Milo. You get a pass.
Yeah, I think the worst are those superhero busts that they make, and because as people may know, I like I'm a big Captain America fan, and so my kid for Father's Day will get me, Captain America figurines or an action figure or something like that to add to my collection of things. It's lovely, and I have instructed him like, don't get me any of the busts with the arms missing because it's weird. You know what I mean? It's like, and then even if you did have arms, it's like he's flying.
And that's why the octopus is your favorite animal.
It is, right? Absolutely, especially the one in Resident Alien. That's right. So many arms. It's just so many arms. But for real, like I'm like, why would you just make the thing? What are you doing, right? And
why stop there?
Yes, and one of the things that I will make an exception for is if it's one of those things you can mount on a wall that looks like they're coming through the wall. Like a flying character. Like a Superman that's coming out and it's got like a burst decal around him.
I gotcha.
That's cool. It's like a Hey Kool-Aid kind of an effect. That I don't mind. But I like this Christy Gnome statue, which again is like bronze cowboy Barbie is essentially what it looks like. It's pretty ridiculous. It's literally the front half of the horse, and then there's this wooden thing behind it. Like they couldn't afford the rest of the horse, or they're like, it's a little awkward if she's not in line with the horse. You could tell like there were multiple meetings about this stupid thing.
Oh,
see what I mean? It looks like a bookend. It looks like a giant bookend. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said tiger's head for
this
garden.
Clearly identifies that Mar-a-Lago face does not translate well to sculpture.
No, it does not. Absolutely. Although I think the filler in the bronze is softer. That said,
the cheeks and the lips, like this could be any face. That could be Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah. The irony of him calling Tallarico that. So,
but can I just say that the horse looks splendid?
Yeah, it does. It's a lovely bronze horse. I mean, my guess is,
and
I'm going to go out
color. The horse is like a brown thing, like a white thing down the middle, and a little pink nose.
I think that's light picking up off the where it might be positioned.
Maybe I'll have another look.
All right, I will. I don't want to. But what I will say, like the person who did the statue more than likely really good at doing horses. You know what I mean? I could see them doing a lot of horses.
That's how they got the job.
That's right. And then it was really hard not to make her look a little horsey.
I just watched a clip, and all these, like, when they took they unveiled it.
They unveiled it.
All these voices going, oh.
It's so, it's so finally, right.
Oh my goodness.
Look, I'm
Why
obviously
do these people want statues?
the same reason I do, but at least I know I'm being ridiculous. I gotta be completely. I have our dear friend Rob Glenn has a giant 3D printer. You know, he's got a new like 1 meter by 1 meter 3D printer, and I'm like, I could print a life-size statue of me in 3 pieces with that thing if he's got any downtime. Yeah, so that it's not out of the question. Especially because I had a long time ago, I did a goofy thumbnail. A long time ago, I do them all the time, but I did a particular goofy thumbnail of me as a gold statue mocking Trump's goldifying of the Capitol, and I was like, you know what? That's kind of hilarious. That said, I probably would rather go with action figure in the hands of many than statue within the eyesight of a few. You know, that's it. So and I will try at some point to put this up so that we can see I'll show it online to our lovely folks who are streaming too. But I'm being very careful not to overtax my system because audio has been the thing that has been I've been dealing with over the last week, and it's the first to go.
How do you like the new place?
I love it. This is going to be great. Look, I can look at this. Look at this, man. I can step all the way back. It's it's basically because there's not a desk back there anymore, so I was able to move the green screen back and widen it. But still, it's very freeing for physical comedy, which is key to my future streaming endeavors. That said, I mean, we obviously have fixated on this. There are a lot of other stories that we will be dealing with today, but that one I just had. There's a few I want to save up for our beloved friend Philip ITTNER, who will be joining us in the second hour. There's some told you so news. Certainly that Blanche was confirmed last night, 50-49. A bunch of Republicans defected, but they still had enough to get him over the line. And those folks are going to, I personally believe, catch hell from their own supporters going into the midterms. Some of them might have done it because they're safe. Some of them might have done it because they're leaving. I think Tillis didn't. But they're the ones that are Tillis and Cornyn. I don't know. I had to look to see if Cornyn voted that way. But they lost like 3 or 4 votes on him. But it won't change anything. The confirmation aspect of it, or whether he continues as an acting AG. Their concern was they would put in someone worse. That was the last word from, I believe it was.
And Tom Blanche, I don't know a ton about him except he's just always been awful, but I haven't seen him do anything. He's heinous yet.
Oh yeah, he was setting up this slush fund for the Jan 6ers and for Trump, and every time Trump talked about it,
that was him. Was that thing that just got shot down
that's what
court case after court case.
Yes, that's what they were trying to set up. And not only does it, supposedly this Jan 6 slush fund, that's what Trump was selling it as. But every time he talked about it, he would talk about how he was really the victim, and that most of that money was going to go to him. And that's hilarious, which is kind of why I wish it would go through. Like, first, we'll talk about that on the other side. I'm kind of rooting for the DOJ slush fund right now for a couple of reasons. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. I'm moving around. All right. So yeah. Now let's go to preview mode. This is probably, I'm gonna regret this, Ray. Duplicate
Don't do
that.
it.
I gotta. I'm a dreamer. It's what I do. I'm not afraid. Maybe a little bit. Okay. Take this guy over here, and then take this guy, move it to here. Take this guy, and move you way up. Whoops. Move you way up here. And then tick tack, tick tock, tick tock. This kind of thing. All right, excellent. Options, drag in. There we go. And drag that in. Cool. And that's for your mother too. That's a line from Jackie Chan, actually. Let's put this back here. Excellent. Okay. I have a couple of like favorite stories right now. That are just so. Daily Beast has been firing on all cylinders. And this one I find particularly hilarious. There's a couple of them.
Nice.
Let's get this. There's one that's like, you what now?
Huh?
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah. What? And let's see. Yeah. And then we got to talk about the jobs report, which of course, and then of course, I think the
first one I've seen go backwards in a while.
Yes. Check for me.
All right, come back in 60, guys.
Thank you. Okay. There are so many. There are so many Lasai moments lately, if you know what I mean. Lasai. There you go. Okay. I've got to.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
This is Damian Perdue of Think Theory Radio. Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Welcome back to the show. So it's very difficult to sort of, when you're nut picking the craziness that's around, to cover the stories that we, have, that we are regularly covering, as you do. But, it's a struggle. The struggle is real, as Johnny Million knows.
No.
But let me finish my thought on the last one, and then we're going to jump to a couple of things like in a row. But the reason I'm kind of rooting for the slush fund right now is because, is because
it's madness.
Is because he's selling it as, I support the Jan Sixers. These are my people, and they were treated very poorly, and none of them got what they deserved, and they were, he keeps talking about the ones that committed suicide, which I'm not sure how they're going to spend the money from the slush fund, but I'm sure he'll figure out a way. But I got to tell you, I can't wait for him to spend it all on himself. Because that's what's going to happen. The slush fund, the $1.8 billion slush fund, which is, by the way, a DOJ just in case we get sued fund that's always around, but allocating it to a particular political group or event or whatever, as if they have not filed a specific class action, let's say, and agreed on terms for what they would get paid out, and there's not a lawyer making the case, and that they don't want to relitigate what they did, and because again, it may be a violation of their pardon terms or something, depending. But Trump's going to take all the money. This is good. Just understand this. They're going to see $112. He's going to send them $17.76 a piece. There's a lot of you, so it's not a lot of money, but at least you've been heard, right? That's the phone call that Todd Blanche and all of them will make to the maggots that were on Jan 6. But for God's sake, there is no way he's going to share that money with them. Not happening. Just get used to the idea. And again, like I said, that's my theory. I'm sticking to it. I am not concerned in any way that money that was there, it is literally a fund that was created so that if the DOJ gets sued, they have money to pull from. They don't have to go to Congress for more money to deal with that every time it happens, because it happens all the time. So he's just going to hoover it up for himself. And his dumb kids will lose it within 6 months. That it won't be back in the taxpayers' hands, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
But the damage it does to his reputation with his own supporters will be plenty. Okay. Couple of things. One is, let's just jump straight into the ridiculousness that is the Iran situation right now. Okay, there is no deal. Okay, there has not been a deal. There has never been a deal. Donald Trump is not talking personally. He's not personally involved, like he told the markets yesterday before the end of the day. None of this is true.
You do.
Yeah, it has never been true. I have been saying this the whole time. Even when the MOU was being signed, and there was this like, liberals won't give him credit, and maggots won't be happy that the war's finally over, and blah blah blah. And we just kept fighting the whole time, just on a low key back and forth for in perpetuity. And we're still doing it, and we will continue to do it. And one of the things that sticks in my craw, along with like the feeling of lace and pudding skin, and I think I'm with Johnny Million on the popsicle stick texture. And statues that are made with no arms in the first place, are these folks that, and I don't fault the news for trying to report this stuff as if it's reality. But there's got to be an eye roll emoji that starts getting added to the end of all these headlines. And this is one from Bloomberg. Iran says Hormuz deal close, but its conditions must be met. Okay, if your conditions must be met, then you are not dealing. And if Trump has, no-go areas where he's insisting that they behave a certain way, and they're not willing to do that, then there is no deal being made. No one's making a deal. Both of them have dug in like ticks, and they're not doing anything. And the discussion between Iran and Oman about the transit area of the Strait of Hormuz, as if they're both going to divide it up. Like Iran will charge for their half of it, but Oman will let everybody go through for free or some nonsense. Or the international lane that's probably, I don't know what, 85 feet wide between their two distinct areas that they say they own. That's where all the other ships can go through. Iran is apparently part of their deal. One of their things that must be met is that American and Israeli boats can't go through. Well, guess what? That's a non-starter for everybody, not just the U.S. So, of course, a deal is not being made. This is a farce. And it's pretty obvious that Trump and Hegseth are using these, as opportunities to reload, rearm, move around munitions from other bases. Trump has been talking about these, our bases in Germany and South Korea and other places like they're piggy banks for munitions. Yep. And he's bouncing that stuff over, right? and there's travel time. Some of that stuff has to be put on a boat, and it takes, 3 weeks to get there. And what gets there faster than those kind of munitions?
Your
people.
Mom.
Yeah, that's right. Well, sure. Yeah. No, it was close.
That is always in the chamber.
I understand. It's literally just people. It's like troops. And if Trump gets up against a wall at some point, that's where the Carg Island seizure happens. That's where we start sending in troops, and he thinks we're going to do another Venezuela. And since his brain is turning to tapioca, I keep repeating this, and I want people to understand this, that just because something's stupid doesn't mean it's not the plan. Just because you're like, that would be nuts. Yes, exactly. That doesn't mean he's not planning for it. So Iran said it's, quote, very close to a deal with Oman on new maritime transit route in the Strait of Hormuz after expectations grew this week that an announcement may soon be made. Iran's foreign minister Raghchi said on Saturday that negotiators are closing in on temporary maritime transit route for ships entering and exiting the Persian Gulf. He cautioned that any agreement won't result in an immediate reopening of the strait, signaling that any respite for energy supplies may be limited. The opening of the strait is subject to other conditions, including the compensation for the U.S.'s violations of the Islamabad agreement. He's referring to the now lapsed MOU signed in June, which again included so much stuff that Trump isn't even aware that it's in there. It's you can't actually achieve standards you don't know exist in your own document. Oman said separately in a post on X that negotiations are progressing, quote, in a positive and constructive atmosphere, and called for a halt on actions in the strait to avoid impacting diplomatic efforts to reach an agreement on navigation. It's unclear how Washington, which Iran insists is not part of the deal for Hormuz, will respond to the final agreement. The rest of the world won't agree to it. It'll end up with Europeans having to do their own sanction package on Iran to stop that, which will ratchet stuff up even more. I would like to remind everyone that the Strait of Hormuz was open in January, completely. There was no negotiation or back and forth about who would run it, any of that stuff. And
it was just open.
Yep, it was just open. And 170 Iranian schoolgirls were still alive on top of that. Yeah. Just brutal. So we got to take a break. Excuse me. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. Are you streaming today, Johnny Million, by the way?
Streaming's on hiatus right now.
Oh, wow. Somebody's in trouble. Somebody's in the doghouse.
That's right.
Making too much noise. We'll be back right after this. So let me pop this up. This I find very funny, and I want to bring this up with Phil. American farmer used as Kremlin prop now faces deportation from Russia. Yeah. Yep. Apparently this dude is like...
people don't think about that. We can be deported from other countries.
Easier than you can be deported from here.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good standard. Maybe it isn't. It's a debatable thing, but I would rather have adults having that conversation instead of the Stephen Millers of the world.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you. It's wild. It's wild.
I heard that Eisenhower gave you a commendation.
Yeah. I got a medal from Eisenhower for keeping down the black vote. Brad Garrett's go-to Bob Hope impersonation. Is this the room for the deal? Yes, it is. Welcome. What's up, Boston Brian? Okay, I think we're. I'm waiting to see if the major's joining us. He was gonna. We'll see. Maybe he's campaigning, so maybe not. But that's my happy ending for the show. Anyway, so yeah. Have not heard back from Major Detective, but I did send a link. Okay, all right. Well, if he misses out on it, I will still talk about it, Andrea, so that he knows. Thank you. Has anyone seen Mitch McConnell yet? Corpse or alive? I'm gonna go with non-responsive, effectively, non-communicative mess. Thank you, Hal Vickery. Bless you. Merry August. It's good to be back. Yes, it's good to have you back, our dear friend. Welcome. Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket up. Oops. Thank you. It should go to both sides, and it didn't. I don't know why. I'll work it out. We will jump to this one. This is the icky one. The story. I don't even want to click on it. I'm afraid. And don't be afraid. Oh, well. Oh, hey, Mr. Happy. Oh. Don't be afraid.
Prop.
Yeah. Wait till we get to the true ick. It came at me with a cane bowl. All right. True ick. You chased after him with a gun loaded and cocked, but don't shoot right if it ain't loaded and cocked.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Came after me with a cane bowl. I just recently watched The True Grit with Jeff Bridges.
Oh, nice.
I was not expecting to like it. I was
CPT.
That's really
Chicago's
good.
Progressive Talk from TuneIn.
This is Tom Hartman, and you're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
Welcome,
Isn't that
everybody.
Jennifer Lawrence?
In what?
In True Grit, isn't she the young girl?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. Yeah, maybe so. You have to look that up for me. But we were just talking during the break about the Jeff Bridges True Grit, which I passed on when it kind of came out. Like
it's Haley Steinfeld.
That's right. Yeah,
I conflate those two.
Yes. So it was. I finally got around to watching it, and he's right up there with Alfie Solomon, the Jewish rum dealer in Peaky Blinders, with just marble mouthed.
Yeah.
I make the white bread, we bake the brown bread.
I tried to get into Peaky Blinders, I just couldn't.
It took me 2 runs, and then it got me.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like a climbing wall. You're like scritch, and you fall back down. Like, okay, I'm gonna get it this time. But then
but Sugar grabbed me right away.
Oh yes, Johnny Million just finished Sugar. And
first season.
The first season of Sugar, Colin Farrell series, and it's just so good. We are not sponsored by any of these things, so I don't know why I'm helping sell them, except that I enjoy them. All right. So I've got this story up on the screen in the live stream. Don't forget to like and subscribe, etc., etc., etc. But this story I'm going to save till our dear friend Philip Ittner is with us. But this one,
okay.
This next one, Johnny Million, I gotta, I can't with this. All right, can you read that title? Do you see what the title says? Can you read it to the people?
Miller's wife's relationship with disgraced Dem, I can only imagine that's Democrat, exposed. The deputy chief of staff's wife had a most unlikely previous relationship.
Who
is it with that statue of that horse?
No, that would Kristi Noem has dibs. Apparently, Stephen Miller's wife was knocking boots with Eric Swalwell when she was working with him, when she was working as a congressional intern in her 20s. Wow. And I don't think she was his intern, but yeah. So
correct me if I'm wrong. Stephen Miller's wife does not appear to be the Aryan goddess I would expect.
For Stephen Miller? No. There's this. She and and Kash Patel and J.D. Vance's wife are part of this right-wing panic about an Indian invasion, which is stupid, right? But I find hilarious, and I have a real hard time stopping these people from just being like,
Don't interrupt them.
Yeah, right. When your enemy is making a mistake, don't interrupt. Right. And in this particular instance, it's a particularly quirky aspect of it because it's linked to two things, and it's got an awkward side story. So I don't know if you know this, Johnny Main, but the H-1B visa, for as far as MAGA is concerned, their real problem with it is the number of Indians coming over. They because these specialty visas for programmers and tech people.
Can you imagine like letting that stuff keep you up at night?
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, but that's.
I just want to make sure my cats eat enough and that my wife's not angry with me. Like real things.
Yeah. Now, there may be multiple reasons why they're doing this. One, they might be driven to this by the sort of social media windup that Russia gets them spun on, or China gets them spun on, and China and India have a real adversarial situation. There's an ongoing war between them that is mostly fist fights and blunt weapons because there's a demilitarized zone around Tibet where you're not allowed to carry guns. So every so often, a bunch of Chinese soldiers beat some Iranian or Indian soldiers to death, and vice versa. So this has been going on for quite some time, and a lot of it has to do with the Tibetan territories because India wants Tibet for cultural reasons and believes that it's part of the sort of the back history of the country, and it's much more aligned with their culture. And China wants it for the water from the glaciers. So it's a resource war versus a cultural and identity war on, all the fixins of a forever war, Yeah. But the tech world, one of the areas because of outsourced jobs due to the fact that Indian people particularly, especially in the tech world, go get trained in England because of their relationship, both bad and good, the imperialist situation, and then the backlash, and then the interperson, the relationship between India and England growing over time, that they speak better English, so they make better call center people than, say, Chinese workers, if you could hire them, right? That would be the idea. And so that's where it automatically went there. And with the tech background that goes with it, setting up those call centers, setting up the computer systems that make those things possible, they've got a lot of well-educated computer techs over there over time, over the last couple of decades, because of the support structure needed for these jobs that were outsourced to India. And so those guys, there's some that rise to the top. Those folks come over to the United States, want to live over here and work for Google or what have you, or run the place, and more power to them, I guess. Except when it comes to the generalized maggot reaction to here comes the next stampede, I guess. And so the H-1B visa thing, when you hear it, understand it is code for too many Indians. That's 100%. Just understand, if you're ever like, why are they clamoring about H-1B visas? Where too many Indians. That's why. Now, my personal Indian side story was, if you'll recall, there was, I want to say it was Arizona, but it was Arizona or Texas. There were a group of right-wingers who decided that it was unfair that racial minorities were getting all the scholarships, that you could have a black scholarship and you could have a Chinese scholarship and you could have a Hispanic scholarship and you could do it for women. But for some reason, you couldn't do it for Caucasians, right? Caucasian, especially males, but Caucasian males were not getting...
Have you ever tried to explain racism to somebody who does not understand what racism is?
I mean...
They're a different color.
Right. That's me reading anytime I go through Twitter. If I scroll through Twitter, that's what I feel like. But so they put together this scholarship. So this is just for Caucasian males. Well, Johnny Main, there's a problem. that they didn't realize they had, which is that Indians are technically Caucasian by the true definition because of how they came across into the Indian territories from Africa through the Caucasus Mountains. That's one of the defining characteristics. That's
I
how
thought it had something
everybody's
to do with like the caulk that you did around your shower and tub.
No.
I
That's just
have been misunderstanding Caucasian
that's
for
just
a long time.
the whole purpose of that stuff is to protect things that need to be sealed and to make really awkward conversations in the aisles of Home Depot.
Do you have any caulk?
Yeah, right. Excuse me? Right. The funny thing is eye roll point. That's the only way you could deal with it. So so there is this, and that panic has grown about Indian Americans, especially, or Indian immigrants, or non-resident aliens who are coming here to work for a short time and that are going back. And it might be that since these guys can't tell Asians apart, even when they're in a restaurant that is a particular cultural restaurant, you know what I mean? Like they can't make the inference that perhaps they might be around some Japanese people in a sushi restaurant, perhaps, and those kind of things. They have a real problem with this, but they can really spot an Indian. Now, they might also not be able to tell the difference between an Indian and a Pakistani, or an Indian and, someone else from the region, maybe southern Kazakhstan or something like that. I mean, and again, I think there's like a meter in their head that once somebody gets to a certain level of brown, it just spikes. You know what I mean? It's like a really sensitive mic. Like once it clears, it goes from 3 decibels to, if you go to 3.5, it just peaks and goes into the red. I think that's kind of where they are about this. But they can definitely, those folks stand out to them in a way that Hispanics no longer do. And Asians, they won't allow themselves to. And and one of the other issues that they have, and this is sort of around the MAGA tree and the H-1B thing, is that Indian Americans per capita on an individual basis and as family units make more money than white people do. A good portion of, Asian Americans, especially Japanese and Chinese people who've been here for a long time, on average, especially, they make more money than white people do.
That can't have anything to do with the quality of education. It cannot.
It can't be the fact that they're specialized in an industry that's very difficult to find people, that it requires a lot of dedication and hard work. No, it's not that. Of course not. Next, you're going to be telling me that we need, that the migrants that these guys are running out of the country are why we can't get roofers right now, because nobody here wants to roof in July, right? So, in all honesty, like there is education is a huge play, and also who's coming here. Again, if you look at the poverty and the income inequality in India, it's enormous. They have a genuine caste system. We talk about class in this country, but class mobility in the United States is genuine. You can move from the poorest to the richest if you have an idea. Nobody can stop you just because you were who you were. If you live in Appalachia and you win the lottery, or you invent a new water pump valve system and patent it because you ground it out in your hobby shop, you can go right to the top. You can start wearing suits and get a nice house and all that kind of stuff. You can do it. In India, there's a cap on a big section of society. So the people that come here to the United States who are coming to these jobs are not a part of that group, and they are already primed for success where they're coming from, as a lot of like modern immigrants to the United States are, which is, again, really intimidating for the Don Juniors and Erics of the world, who had every head start you could possibly give someone, and now they're
embarrassing, man.
They're having to have a conversation with somebody and they don't understand what the person is saying, not because they're foreign, not because they're speaking a foreign language, but because they're actually speaking the specs and details of the topic at hand. So that said, I'm enjoying that part of the panic, and it is ongoing, and it will. It's not going to stop anytime soon. Just so you know, it's like this is. So anytime you hear the H-1B visa thing, it's about Indians, and one of the hidden reasons why Trump has dropped a lot in his, you could shave maybe half a point at least of his support off of the number of Indians in and around his cabinet, including picking J.D. Vance as his vice president, and because of his wife, and obviously Stephen Miller's wife, and Kash Patel. Like that, they grind about this all the time. It's disgusting and hilarious at the same time. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. Karen Ames said, she goes, as racist as Stephen Miller is, I'm surprised he has an Indian wife. First of all, you have to understand, Indians are not in the same category as Black and Hispanic people in terms of the Stephen Millers of the world. Also, he's technically not white in his background, in that he's Jewish, and there's this belief system that
what?
The non-Ashkenazis, I believe, is the idea that he's, So I don't think there's a different distinction.
It's
in this
time
situation.
we clean house in this administration.
They're very silly. They're very silly people. But and again, the idea that you would have you'd pick the race part only comes in when it comes to children. Obviously, I suppose if you were a purist, but nobody that looks like Stephen Miller looks in the mirror and goes, we've got to preserve these genes, So I'm not, too worried about that. Stephen Miller is mental, right? Is ish, right? He's the ish. But they make a very, the Indian class distinction culturally in India, there's a lot of parallels to that in how Stephen Miller and his ilk think of the rest of the world. Donald Trump thinks that there's rich people and poor people, and he only hangs out with the white rich people.
WCPT 820,
right?
Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Now, back to Hal Sparks on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
We were talking earlier, Johnny Million, about must-watch stuff, watch TV stuff, and that kind of thing. And like I said, I've enjoyed the Peaky and the Blinders. I've enjoyed. I'm glad I got to share Sugar with you. People know my about my run-in with Colin Farrell, lovely fellow. Love In Bruges. I like him in a lot of stuff. And the Penguin, he's amazing. Just saying. And the Penguin is the only villain story that I've ever watched where they make one of these, like the Joker movies and those kind of things, where it actually does what it's supposed to do. It's a cautionary tale about who you start sympathizing with.
It doesn't explain and whitewash why this person's a bad person. Like, well, you can't really blame the Joker. That girl didn't want to go out with him.
Right. Yeah. Which is like, don't get me started on if you're against private property. Eventually, the slippery slope is anybody who doesn't put out is an enemy of the state. That gets real scary real fast.
It's slippery. Talk about slippery slope.
But there's a must-watch show that that involves. It's a series, I think. It's got guest stars. The guest stars are very strange. Guest stars like Tucker Carlson. Guest stars like Nick Fuentes. Guest stars like the Channel 5 internet dude. It's the Hunter Biden series. I don't know if you've seen, but Hunter Biden is kicking doors. This guy, bless his heart, considering the spaces he found himself in as an addict, you can see why he's not afraid to go into the lion's den, as it were, and a bunch of these things. And so he apparently, we saw him sit down with Candace Owens. We saw him sit down with this Channel 5 guy and Nick Fuentes. They didn't do it as a parallel thing because I don't think Fuentes does that kind of stuff. And now he's sitting down with Tucker Carlson for like 2 hours. There was a teaser released of it today. I can't play it because there's some spicy language.
Yeah.
But one of the big parts of it that came up was, as the teaser, was there's this one thing that's been bothering me, and I have to ask you this question. Tucker asks him this question. Did you drop off 3 laptops at a repair shop? And Hunter says, no, never happened. And I have been saying this forever. You guys know that I was the early adopter of show me the laptop. I need metadata, or it did not happen. I don't care. You like, especially in the age of AI concocted stuff now, you have to be much better and much more vigilant about that kind of stuff. But the idea that I would believe that a hard drive labeled laptop that happened to be given to Rudy Giuliani through his lawyer. Good Lord, can you imagine the skeeviness of Rudy Giuliani's lawyer? By a blind Mac repair shop guy who can't see but 6 inches in front of his face, couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a lineup, gets 3 soaking wet laptops dropped off, notices the sticker on the back that says Beau Biden Cancer Foundation, automatically goes, this has probably got criminal evidence on it, keeps a copy of it for himself, and gives it to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer. Now, the farther we get away from this story, the more the retelling of it sounds stupid. But this was like, oh yeah, that happened. That's a real thing. For years, around 2020 into 2021, ongoing into and throughout the Biden administration, didn't happen. Never garbage, ridiculousness. And the funniest part is that right about the time that Hunter Biden allegedly dropped off these 3 soaking wet laptops, where only half of one was still readable, one of the hard drives was still readable, and he I guess downloaded it while he was trying to I don't know, put it in a bowl of rice. It's so stupid. It's embarrassing to just relay what are the alleged details. But he downloads like half of this hard drive, and never mind the fact that the hard drive doubled in size by the time it got to Rudy Giuliani. I think the laptop that they were talking about, the model has maxed out at 256 gigs back in the day, and it had I think 640 gigabytes of stuff on it.
Sure.
Just come on. But the fact that Don Jr. and Eric both started growing beards right about the time that happened, and if you squint, and if you could only see 6 inches in front of your face, and Don Jr. and Eric and Hunter Biden walked into a repair shop. This sounds like a joke, and it should be. Right. You wouldn't be able to tell them apart. You just wouldn't. They're about the same height. They all had.
Except one of them would point to the radiator and say, "How much for the accordion?"
Right. Yeah. That would be Don. Eric would just start trying to play it and burn his arms. Look, a squeeze toy. Ow!
He'd call the fire extinguisher a trombone, and
that's right, and blow dust all up in his nose. Right. This stings. In all honesty, like I was so encouraged by that question finally being asked by somebody. The irony that it was Tucker Carlson and that it got answered directly. No, didn't happen. And I can't wait for MAGA to respond to when that comes out. Because again, a lot of this isn't even about the interview. A lot of it isn't even about me taking pieces of it or going through it, which I very well may do on my show. It's long. But what it is about is this bifurcation. This is why you're hearing all this thing about Dems divided right now, is because Republicans are really in trouble with each other. The Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk, TPUSA, Candace Owens thing has not diminished at all. The maggots are still upset with Donald Trump and his ridiculous war of choice in the Middle East. They're not convinced that he can handle the economy. There was a woman that was on, I think it was News Nation. They interviewed her, and she cried when they asked. She was a Trump voter. She cried when she was talking about how expensive things are. When she was, she can't do stuff for her kids because of how expensive things are. And I felt for her, but I was like, "Yeah, we told you so." Anyways. So over the, and it's lining up right with the midterms. Like it's the worst time for Republicans to deal with this. So you're hearing the communist thing, and you're hearing all over that Dems are divided over this. So they're trying to drive up the division. I got to tell you, it ain't happening. Because one of the things that when we had a Bernie bro problem in the Hillary era, which absolutely contributed to Donald Trump becoming president, doing all the awful that he did. And those folks need to have an element of regret in their lives about that because of the damage done to women's rights, to human beings, to immigrants, to the death rate from civilians, during drone strikes, his removal of the rules of engagement, all that kind of stuff. That's what you get when you're like, "Nuh-uh, I'm mad. My person didn't get in, so I'm taking my ball and go home," right? The interesting thing about whether it's Mamdani or Al-Sayed or these other candidates is, by and large, the moderate Democrats, so heavily vilified by the folks running, are going to vote for Al-Sayed. They're going to vote for these congressional, candidates, even if they were DSA people, because the adult choice is that they will, of course, be better than anyone that the Republicans put in. End of story. And it's not even debatable. And it's not because they're superior necessarily even to the people that we might have liked, right? That's not the issue. This is what adults do. And that's the problem that Republicans are running into, is that they have a distinct problem. I don't see them anytime soon being able to mend the fences the way Democrats are going to. If it had gone the other way, the DSA candidates in a bunch of these areas, because they had these wins, and I think because Bernie is hurting them in the right direction this time, they will turn out and vote. There'll be a problem if they leave other people blank, but the rank and file Democrats are not going to take their ball and go home. This means too much. Maybe there's a lesson to be learned. We'll be back. And there we go. I think if we go right here. There he is. It's Phil. How are you, sir?
Theo.
Phil. How are? Oops, we don't hear you. Hold on. I heard you for a second, and then you moved your mic, and we didn't hear you. Johnny, can you hear him?
Not yet.
How about now?
Okay. Yeah, there you
go.
Yep. It took a second. Yep. Okay.
All right. Sorry, gang. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hello.
So, don't worry. I can't do it. Yes, we can hear you now. Whoop. And then he went away, as you do. Okay. Maybe he's just rechecking in there. There he is. There you go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, Phil. Planet Phil. There you are. Hello.
Control to Major Tom.
Yes. Packed my bags last night. Pre-flight. 0 hour. 9 a.m. And I'm going to be.
I love that. Right up there with what's his name doing the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins.
Oh my God, Nimoy.
Nimoy.
Yeah. Also, you're a little muffled, so I don't know which mic you're on. Can you check and see which one?
Yeah, let me reload one more time. Hold on a sec.
Sure. Mm-hmm. You packed my bags last night, pre-flight. There you go. Hey.
How's that?
Yes,
Is that
way
better?
Yes. And because Johnny's out, this let me check on this guy.
I haven't slept. I had my
Yeah.
first night of decent sleep last night, and even then we had an attack. So we've been in the middle of like unprecedented heat wave. So I haven't slept in a week. I have not slept in a week, and I am shattered.
It's if you only want to do a half hour, you're more than welcome. But we're
Yep. I know. I'm here for a reason.
Yep. I think I can cheer you up though. Hold on one second. Let me go to here, and I'm gonna duplicate this, and then I'm gonna go to here. No, I need to go to back here. Sorry, one second. I'm gonna go to here, and yes, I'll swap this one for you, so I can show you this guy.
So some American farmer was putting forth Kremlin talking points, and then they cut him off.
No, remember the guy who he moved to Russia with his family, and there was that.
Guy.
That fucking guy. Yeah. And apparently he's flabbergasted, I tell you. Flabbergasted. He can't imagine how this is happening to a nice guy like him. It's mind-boggling, he says. And they had a little nickname for him and everything. This is all going very, very well.
Nickname?
Yeah, they called him like the American Milkman or something.
No, he was on Sunday night. They did a whole profile of him on Sunday night. Воскресенье ночи.
Right, Mary Milk.
Solovyev and Skabaeva, and they did a whole thing about him and how wonderful.
Right.
Doesn't it show how decadent the West is?
Oh, yes.
And then he gets there, and of course he realizes that actually functioning in a Russian society, thank you, Chicago. Functioning in a Russian society is like brutal.
Yeah, apparently, because damn.
So I'm half knocked out, Hal. So
I understood.
Be gentle.
Yep, I will. We're not going to spring anything on it. So questions in the chat, at softballs only. I'll try to. Joe the Milkman. Somebody was saying. Let's see. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm here to answer questions. So ask me anything you want to know, but don't ask me an obscure kind of like, hey, did you hear that yesterday that this very...
Yes.
I'm not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, we got it. We got you covered, brother. Fear not.
We're fast.
I can respond to it, but...
Yep.
I frequently have to ask them to put it in the form of a question.
You're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when I was being so charming.
Video streaming at halsparks.com.
I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
Damn puss-faced little pimp stick.
True progressive talk.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
So welcome, and joining us now from Kiev in complete wiped out fashion, bless his heart, is our dear friend Philip ITTNER, who got a relatively decent night's sleep last night, but heavy on the relatively.
Considering he was being bombed.
Yes, considering they were, there's a bombing campaign that is trying to drive him and everyone around him insane and kill a bunch of people. So you are completely forgiven, my friend, and we're more than happy that you are here with us. And we promise to be gentle with our questions today, especially. Johnny Million is still with us, and he's going to be going through and getting some questions, but they'll be by and large softballs. Now, I have to say, there's one that I find particularly cool, and maybe this will be a slight reprieve for you right out of the gate. Phil, is this story that we were chit-chatting a little bit during the break about this fella, this guy Justice Walker, which again sounds like a Chuck Norris spinoff, title, but this is one of the guys who went over and went like, America sucks. True freedom is in Russia. Tucker's right about Arabs.
There ain't no Arabs.
That's right. We got no gays and no Arabs and stuff. I mean, these underground clubs are a bit weird and everybody's walking around with nipple clamps, but it's completely normal. I'm just saying these are good Christian folks. They got big churches and whatnot. So this guy, he apparently, I guess, was under the impression that he could criticize the government at some point, at which I find hilarious because he was fine until he wasn't. He was apparently, he was all in on this, Russia's the business, and then wouldn't you know it, he decided like, hey, I have a problem here. This doesn't quite work. He tried to pull a Karen, and they didn't like it. So he is now being deported. An American who moved to a farm in the Russian countryside has long extolled the Russian government and its agricultural policies. Now reportedly faces deportation after speaking out against officials. I know. And my favorite sentence of the whole article is the next one. This is just a shock for us. Really? 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 Dude. Yeah. Really? This is really. It's amazing to me that these folks. Okay. Anyways, he goes, this is just a shock for us. Farmer Justice Walker said in a video he labeled, and this is he made a video and labeled it family tragedy. He posted it on YouTube, which again, I don't think you can do. You can't actually access YouTube in the country. So obviously he's using a VPN, and they're probably letting him because he was extolling the virtues of Russia until he didn't.
Yeah, when they're useful to you, everything's fine. But the second you actually try to, exercise any kind of rights or, recourse to the law, Russian society is like, oh, no. You don't get to do that. You don't.
That's not how it works.
Not how it works here.
Yeah. Sorry, dum-dum.
So
just magic. So he goes,
this is it.
He posted a YouTube video called Family Tragedy, and he was informed that officials plan to, quote, revoke his resident permit as early as Monday. So where is he going to come back here and do a defund ICE protest? Did he try to do his own defund ICE over there? Thinking, all right. It's just mind-boggling.
Isn't he the guy that got all his money stolen?
Yeah. But they gave him a sharecropper job with a farm basically to shut him up. Was the idea we took your money, but take this piece of land and make food with it, and do what you're going to do, and we'll film you doing it and whatever. But we're taking all the money you came in with. And that's the thing, that's why they did it. They took all the money he arrived with so that they could, because they don't have any. And then they gave him useless rubles, in this. But he goes, it's just mind boggling. I can't believe it. My family is being expelled from the country. He is, and this is my favorite part. He is not expected to be compensated for his farm if he's deported. No kidding. Oh
my goodness. I moved to a kleptocracy.
Yeah. And they're stealing everything I have. Right. Just come on, dude.
And you wonder why the Ukrainians are fighting as hard as they are.
Right. exactly.
Because that's what Russia is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Russia is. You know,
That's it. That's exactly right.
And you know, so these guys who are pro Russia and the Vatniks who kind of extol the virtues of Russia and say that Ukraine is you know, this terrible Nazi, et cetera, whatever talking point you want to take.
Right.
It's all manipulation. It's all a manipulation. At the end of the day, Russia is about binary power dynamics, kleptocracy, and basically feudalism.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, you go over there as this idiot did, thinking that Russia is the bastion of, you know, traditional Christian white nationalism identity. It's not. It's about power, and it's about,
well, okay, so one of the
if you're
reasons
big and the other person is small, then you get screwed.
Yeah, so this other, like his family apparently brought him as a young person in 2000, and then they came back, and then he went back on his own with his wife and all this kind of stuff. And he's been there for a while, but this is not the guy who left immediately, but this, because that guy went to war and never came back. This guy's been around for a little bit, but he was on, it's so maggoty and ironic. It's almost like he was a test case for how to manipulate maggots. Because in 2014, he appeared in a Russian feature program praising the country's ban on food imports from other nations. And he gloated that Russians would have to buy his cheese because he was they called him the Merry Milkman, and the Merry Dairy.
You're going to have to buy my cheese.
He's going to have to buy my cheese. That's right. He was like, would have to buy his cheese. Why? Why? Because there won't be any of your Italian cheese, he laughed. When he was on this, he was talking to some, I guess, whatever. He was talking to he's pointing at the Italians, I don't know, through the camera. But since 2024, and this is so telling, Walker has spoken out against gold mining backed by the government in the Altai region where his farm is located. He also issued critical comments on YouTube earlier this year saying the Russian state acts as a punitive body against agricultural operations, driving small and medium-sized farmers out of business. And like, sorry, dude, featured, not a bug. What's wrong with you? Walker and his wife, whose name is, of course, Rebecca, who have 3 children, have chronicled their life in Russia on social media. We call our mission Sent to Siberia because we believe we have been sent here, not as people were often sent, but as a blessing to us and to be a blessing to others. So they're like, again, this guy and his wife, Rebecca, from a very religious family, decided that they were going to kind of become like Russian Amish or something and move there where they could avoid the gays. And this guy's been, you know, he's been a propagandist for the Russians his entire adult life. And then the minute he complained, they're kicking him out of the country. Yep. I wonder if he'll be a guest on Tucker. That's my question. What do you think the chances are?
He would be great on Tucker. It would be a successful conversation. I would bet you, because I bet you that if you went on Tucker, that his narrative would change. That he would,
sure.
That he would still be very pro-Russian, but he would be anti-global oligarchy, which is the problem, right?
Right.
You know, and
if the Italians weren't forcing their cheese on the Russians, right?
Yeah, well, there are these guys that wear yarmulkes, see, and they control everything. And yeah, no, I mean, he could still make it work. He could absolutely still make it work and be an American version of what the Russians tried to use for their propaganda.
Right.
He could go back and say, you know, there's this problem globally. Oh my God!
It's the small hat people again, all over again.
Small hat people again.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks Radio Program, Mega Worldwide. Yeah, I just like
moron.
I know. Moron. I need a come on, man. Biden.
Come on,
sound
man.
effect. Come on, man.
We got a great episode this week.
Oh yeah.
Don't know if we're gonna. Don't know if we're gonna have one next week.
You up.
But really good one this week with this really lovely, beautiful Gen X couple outside of Toronto who organize a postcard campaign to send postcards to the front lines to let soldiers know they're not being forgotten. And
awesome. That's my first question I have for you, Phil.
Story. It's a beautiful story. It really is. It's really nice.
Can Phil hear me?
Yes, he can. I think so. Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
He's just ignoring you, which I think shows taste and breeding on his part.
I'm just slap happy.
I know.
I'm
it's
just absolutely slap happy. We got over 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Matter.
Welcome back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
The fighting in Ukraine has continued apace, and the Russians have become increasingly brutal in their bombing campaign. It's one of the reasons why our dear friend Phil is might slap happy this week. But he's got one of the questions, Johnny Million, I think, was about the show this week, about his show On the Edge.
Yeah. Susie M. Jones is asking, who's Philip's guest this week?
I have a lovely couple. They're Canadian. They live outside of Toronto, and they've organized a postcard campaign to send encouraging notes, postcards in supply and kind of donation boxes, just saying, hey, we haven't forgotten about you. We're thinking about you, and the impact that has on Ukrainian soldiers who get postcards from children with, drawings and things like that. And they even carry them around as talismans. They put them in their vehicles or in their uniform, or they put them in their barracks or their trench lines, because it reminds them that they're not being forgotten. And that's a really big thing for morale for Ukrainians. All the talk of Ukrainian military being exhausted is true, but they're not going to stop fighting. And every time they get a postcard or a little cartoon drawing from an 8-year-old outside of Vancouver, it reminds them that they're doing something bigger than themselves. And so it was a real privilege to talk to these guys who organize this postcard campaign. And really, seriously, if anybody, watch it tomorrow, as usual, debuting 8 p.m. Kiev time, which I think is 12 p.m. Eastern time in the States. We will have links to their website. You don't have to be a Canuck. You can be just an American who wants to send a little seed of light into a sea of darkness. They'll take it. And I have to say, and those who watch the episode will recognize that I love Canadians. I'm a Michigan. I'm partly a Michigander, partly a Californian. But the part of me that is a Michigander feels a very deep affection and love for the Canadian people. They used to sell us Labatt's when we were 19. So I will always love the Canadian people. But there's a similarity between the people of Ukraine and the people of Canada, who have a neighbor who has turned into a very vicious bully. And the Canadians are absolutely right. Now is the time for the globe to have elbows up.
Yeah. Absolutely. So one of the big things that I think a bit of positive news, especially in terms of, thank you, Gen X. Oh my God. Appreciate that. One of the big pieces of news, of course, is that the U.S. has agreed to monthly Patriot interceptor deliveries to Ukraine. I saw that. Which, fingers crossed, it actually happens. A lot of us are,
we've
very
been
wait and see,
before.
Right. But,
I'll believe it when I see it.
Sure. But a good possibility and certainly necessary. Yes. Exactly.
We need it. We are getting absolutely pummeled in Kiev night by night. And the reason why I'm kind of, out of it, a little slap happy, is because we have a combination of a really intense heat wave in Kiev and throughout Ukraine, and lots of sleepless nights because it's just downtown Kiev is not built for very hot weather. I mean, you live in Las Vegas, so you have AC, right? Well, Kiev doesn't really have to ever worry about AC generally, but this week, like last winter, we've seen extreme temperatures, and in this case, it's been heat. And so I have rarely slept in the last week. And then in addition to that, because of the Trump administration, we don't have interceptors to stop ballistic missiles. And so either I'm sleepless because I'm too hot to, lie in bed, relax, or I've got ballistic missiles coming down on me. I mean, the trauma of the Ukrainian people is just it's beyond. It will have to be researched. It's going to have to. In later years, we're going to have to look back on this. And so, why this episode I think is particularly pertinent is that these are Canadians, and Canadians have a very deep history and connection to Ukraine. There's been a lot of immigration into Canada by Ukrainians since the 1890s, actually. I used to be a correspondent for the CBC, so I know a lot about this. And they, the importance of, I think, this week's episode is that we can't turn away. We have to keep our attention on this. And even if you are sending the slightest little postcard or drawing or whatever it is, that the connection between those of us who believe in liberal democracy and want to see a sovereign Ukraine can do something. There's a tangible thing that they can do. And you will be able to access that if you watch tomorrow's episode, because we'll include a link to their website where you can, get a postcard, write it, send it. They'll take care of all the logistics. But you will remind a soldier who is fighting not only for his own land, for his own country, but for actually the defense of the entire Western world. You can contribute to that. And I think that's important. And so that's why I created the show. That's why this episode I'm very proud of. But the most important thing above all else is to remember that we are fighting something here in Ukraine that if it is victorious, it will do grave damage to the entire Western world. And we are not perfect. We have flaws, but we are not what the Russians are. And we are not about autocracy, and we are not about brutality. And I really think that's an important message. So, the heat wave is broken. So hopefully I'll get some sleep and I'll be more articulate when we speak on Wednesday. But
sure.
I still think this is important, and I hope everybody watches it. And I hope actually everybody contributes, because, sending a postcard to a guy who's sitting in a trench line defending Western democracy, how much of a difficulty is that for you, and how important is it for him? The cost reward ratio is enormous, and
that's just actual supporting of the troops, not just.
And it's just 30 minutes. It's just write a postcard. I'm thinking about you. God bless you. Be safe. Go home to your family. I hope you're okay. I hope you're victorious. I understand the sacrifice you're making.
We believe in the cause.
These little words can mean so much to a guy who is sitting in a trench and taking artillery rounds. Why is he doing it? Or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
also they send them to families and, you know, 10-year-old children who are in bomb shelters at 3 a.m, getting a postcard from a Canadian kid who makes a little cartoon drawing of, this is my home. I hope you can go to your home soon safely. What that means
Right.
to that child and the connection between children, and to understand that. I mean, imagine you're 10 years old and you're woken in the middle of the night and you're taken down into a bomb shelter and there are explosions going on and your parent has to tell you there are people who want to kill you simply because of who you are, that you are
Mm-hmm.
Ukrainian, and because of that they want to kill you. And this organization receives and distributes postcards and drawings and all of these kinds of things. And beyond the ballistic missile defense systems that we need, beyond the the vehicles that can evacuate the wounded or all the rest of it, there's a real important thing that we can do in the West, and it's so effortless. It takes you so little time to do it. But what you're doing is you're giving hope to a people who are being subjected to a genocide. And I can't think of a better purpose or cause in my life than to give voice to people who are doing this and who are distributing this message. I can't emphasize enough how important that is.
So, and is this postcards to the front? Is that the couple you're
Postcards to
talking
the front, Canada. There's an Australian postcard to the front. There's Canadian postcard to the front, and then there's Ukrainian postcard at the front. I would love to find an American who would do this and create a branch in America. All you have to do, it's not brain surgery. All you got to do is distribute postcards, get people go to your local picnic, your local potluck, your after, your church school after, service event, and put out a couple postcards and get people to write, hey, you're not forgotten. We see you. We know about you. We support you. You know, what that little effort does for a guy who hasn't slept in weeks, he's living in dirt, he's being shot at for the ideals of Western liberal democracy. Because make no doubt about it, what Russia is upset about in Ukraine is not NATO expansion, it's not anything, it's their empire, and it is their desire to destroy Ukrainian identity so that it can benefit from its own Russian empire. And if you can send a postcard or any kind of indication to a Ukrainian who is standing on that line, who is on the bulwark, he's right there. He hasn't seen his child in months. He's been shot at. He's seen and lost friends. And he receives a postcard, something as small as that. It changes everything. So I hope you watch the show, and I hope you'll contribute.
Absolutely. That'd be great. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Tom Hartman.
Remember David Vitter having sex with hookers and stuff?
Wow. Tom's gotten spicy.
Yeah, Tom's having sex with hookers.
Really? Tom Hartman talking about hookers?
Well, that was the David Vitter, I think, reference. Back in the Dizzy.
Tom's a good man.
He is. Yep, I'm a fan. Okay, let me make sure my audio is getting low there. That's that thing. Oh, I see. Check. There we go.
Check your booty.
Hey, check. There we go. I don't want it to get too high. I need to change that. Yeah. Okay. Don't tweak anything while the show's going on. To fix it later, Hal. Okay, I'm fine. God damn, it's so hard not to.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's broke.
WCPT.
But don't fix it right now.
WCPT from
The car's
TuneIn.
rolling down the hill.
This is Damian Perdue of Think Theory Radio, Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
We posted the link in the chat also on here, but please check out Phil's show with the people who started this in Canada. This lovely couple to put together postcards to the front. It's I think it's postcards.
Helen and John Michel.
Yeah,
postcard to the front.
To the front, Canada.com. Yep.
Yeah.
And
they're
he's
just beautiful, lovely people, and they're not changing the world. You know, this isn't about getting, fighting vehicles to the front line. This is just a little thing that you can do, and it means the world. So
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see the
So
topic you're bringing up. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So the Russian economic story has been, we've batted it about a few times, and there was always been this thing where they could kind of pretend by siphoning up oligarch money and pushing them out a window, or pretending they have more money, or getting on a war footing and then shifting the basis of their economy and all that kind of stuff. But with the Wildberries attack that happened on that giant facility, imagine the impact on daily life in America if the biggest Amazon facility in the United States, the central one, if there was one, which there isn't, which I think is smart, got destroyed. And so all the satellite ones were having to take, 3 times as much space, and they couldn't do all this stuff. So they were rejecting things, and then things wouldn't get shipped, and then things were lost. All the stuff that was in there was burned up. So God knows what people paid for and how they're going to get refunds, especially if they're getting it, which is, I think about 30% of Amazon you can just kind of write off as plastic crap from China that is drop shipped. It is a whole industry that underpins the entire Amazon substructure. With Wildberries, these days it's almost the entire thing. Like I'm sure there's some internal stuff that shifted around, but I think it's the other way around. I think 30% is the Russian stuff, and the rest
30% of the facilities,
the
distribution centers have been destroyed.
Yeah.
Think about what that would mean if it happened to Amazon.
Right. Or USPS or the
gone.
FedEx.
It's simply gone. There is no recourse. There's no insurance. Additionally, there are a lot of Russian banks that paid into this, that supported these warehouses, and so they're invested in their success. They put out massive loans, and they're not going to get reimbursed. So now it's going to, not only is it going to affect, in essence, Russian Amazon, but also Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Okay? These guys who sent out millions of dollars of loans to Wildberries aren't even going to get their money back. So all the guys that invested in Amazon, if that happened, what would that mean to our banking sector? They were forced to do it too.
Yeah, because the internal shoring up of the economy is not an option at this point, especially once you're on a quote war footing to them. So Russia does not. This is the article on Ukraine Today article, but this is from Reuters. Russia does not have sufficient funds to rescue the affected sellers of the Wildberries marketplace. A source close to the Kremlin told Reuters. According to him, what happened to the marketplace, which controls half of the country's e-commerce market, is a serious blow to the economy. There will be a wave of bankruptcies. No one has the kind of money to support sellers. We're talking hundreds of billions of rubles At least 20 Wildberry logistics hubs and warehouses were raided by drones. Some burned to the ground. As a result, the company, which annually sells goods worth 3% of Russia's GDP, lost 1.18 million square meters of warehouse capacity, or approximately a fifth. According to Reuters calculations, tens of thousands of entrepreneurs were affected, losing their goods and the ability to sell them. So their Etsy goes through there.
To paraphrase Hemingway, how did your divorce happen? Slowly at first, and then all at once.
Yes, right. The Russian authorities are discussing a possible support package for retailers, which, however, does not include direct payments to affected individuals because it's an oligarchical system. And I wonder if Tucker Carlson will do a whole thing about how the Russian government is bailing out big business and leaving small businesses and individuals to fend for themselves.
But how they have lifts that take your shopping cart all the way to the top of the shopping center. And,
you mean
they have fresh bread? And look at how amazing!
Right, and you mean they have a cart trolley like the Target on La Brea and Melrose has, or it's La Brea in Santa Monica. You don't say. Next thing, they'll have elevators. Another problem is that a significant portion of Wildberry's sellers are sole proprietors. Because again, this is this is both drop shipping and these like individual Etsy-esque kind of things that they sell amongst there. Mm-hmm. By law, they are liable for debts with all their assets. In other words, those who lose goods through no fault of their own, even if they have outstanding loans, could lose all or most of their assets. The Chamber of Commerce and Industry has proposed that the government change the bankruptcy procedure to prevent this situation. Yeah, right. Wildberries itself also needed assistance. No kidding. The Russia's richest woman with a fortune of $8.2 billion, according to Forbes, she wanted the government is discussing the possibility of preferential loans to her company. Didn't she start it with her husband or something like that, or their brother, and then she killed him? She like hired people these people went in and shot the place up because it was like they were fighting over who would be the heir to it or whatever. And it was like I showed it last time, like a couple weeks ago. The gunfight in the Russian Amazon headquarters over who would run the joint. It was like johnwick.com.
It's just how things are done there. Yep. Lost your audio, Hal.
Yeah, your audio went, Hal.
That's weird. So I'm guessing. Yep. So I'm guessing that the situation with their economy is not going to improve anytime soon, especially because on top of that, the Ukrainians have targeted 27, I think just in the last few days, 27 Shadow Fleet ships full of oil and or consumer goods, grain, whatever else they're trying to sell.
Or they were moored in the Sea of Azov, and they were waiting to pick up or drop off, and
they could be used for a bunch of stuff, but now they are paperweights. Now they're 100% at the bottom of the sea, very beautifully being photographed at the bottom of the sea, just like the Iranians.
This is another reason why people need to watch my show tomorrow.
There you go.
Because there's a commonality here. And I'll tell you what the commonality is that when you basically just want to be left alone. You want to live with the people who live around you in peace and harmony. You don't bother me, I don't bother you. And both the Canadians and the Ukrainians are now subject to a neighbor who has turned into or has activated his aggressive, vicious kind of bully behavior. And so, I'm talking to these Canadians, I'm doing this interview, and they're like, we see we feel the difficulty from having a neighbor that is aggressive towards us.
Right.
And so there's commonality there as well. You know? And it's kind of sad to say because I love Canadians, man. I think Canadians are great.
Yep.
You know, I think it's a wonderful culture. And
I'm
really
Canadian by
people.
injection. I lived up there for 6 years.
Don't put a hockey stick in their hands. But aside from that, you know, they're lovely. And I see the commonality between living next to a big country and really just wanting to be yourself.
Yeah.
But because you live next to this big country that likes to kind of swing its you-know-what around, you have to kind of adjust your reality. And I don't think that is a message that Americans in particular should ignore. I think we need to be better to our neighbors to the north, and I think Russia should be better to its former colony in Ukraine. I'm not going to hold my breath about that last part.
GTFO, I think that's
there's that. I'm not holding my breath because Russia is not America.
Right.
But I can see the similarity in a country that lives next to a much larger, more powerful, ostensibly define your own sense of power. But our dear Canadian brothers and friends are being mistreated. And guess what? Ukraine is being massacred. It's a genocide because they have a maniacal, despotic neighbor who is much bigger than them. And I think Americans need to do more, and we should. And I encourage that. But the reason why I like talking to Canadians about Ukraine is because they understand that dynamic. They also have a massive diaspora of Ukrainians in Canada going back to the 19th century. But, I see that similarity, and I think it's a message that we should internalize in America about how we treat our friends. And, if Russia was truly a friend of Ukraine and wanted to protect, again, air quotes, the Ukrainian or the Russian diaspora that lives in Ukraine because of the imperial past, they could do it far better than blowing people up and murdering people and sending rape squads. So, I see.
I will hesitate on that because I'm not quite sure they can. Because if they could, they would.
Not anymore.
Right?
Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore.
One of the things.
Don't mess with the Ukrainians. Because don't mess with the Ukrainians.
Right. So there is a crisscross, and we got to take a break in a minute. But there's a crisscross that's happening between what's going on in Iran, what's going on with the Russian shadow fleet, and what's going on with them trying to get around sanctions. And I'll show you this before we get to the happy ending of the show. This is a Russian tanker. Environmental disaster looms as a Russian tanker leaks off of Oman. This spot that's on this image that I'm showing online right now, that's oil. That's not an island. That's stuff coming out of this ship. It's leaking oil across hundreds of square kilometers near a nature reserve. The ship was, it's completely coated, is my point. The ship was rocked by explosions, a maritime security firm told AFP, but the cause of the blast is unclear. With oil apparently continuing to leak and the vessel stranded in a difficult location, the risks of an even larger environmental disaster remain serious. She warned of a severe and long-lasting consequence. Greenpeace said the oil sheen had expanded from 20 square kilometers on July 24th to an estimated 600 on August 4th. This is, and Russia has been using these crap ships that are moored or that are titled or flagged off of these rando countries that are part of its shadow fleet when they, it's like supposedly a Cyprian ship or a supposedly Turkish or supposedly what, but they're clearly not. It wouldn't be Turkey. It'd be like Cambodia or Indonesia or something like that, where they can just basically buy flag status. Yeah, exactly. And then, they can say, oh, that's not a Russian ship. That's not ours. That belongs to this poor little country. You don't want to hurt it, do you? and so they can keep the U.S. and others from doing it because they do it in these impoverished nations. But the people of those impoverished nations never see a dime from any of it. I doubt they even pay their flagging fees or whatever as the years go on. At least you could have some sort of thing where the whoever runs those countries could extort the Russians into a security payment or something, but that doesn't happen. They just basically, once they get the flag or call it, off they go. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. Johnny Million has a show called It's Johnny Million on Twitch and YouTube, even if he's on hiatus right now. And of course, we got a great show coming on the Edge from Phil tomorrow. So check that out. Go to Philip ITTNER's YouTube channel and subscribe there. We'll be back right after this.
Think Theory Radio. Manipulating the map.
So something in the chat I wanted to respond to.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I think one of my cats has gone over the edge. What's he doing?
Oh, okay.
Cats is what?
Ghost of Harar. Ghost of Harar, who wrote, I live in Bali, Indonesia, and the influx of Russian oligarch babies has totally changed affordability here. Illegal businesses building villas with blood money, general bad behavior. It's wild. Yeah, that's what the Russians do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So like even the good Russians who have left Russia because of the situation inside the country, they're going to send their kleptocracy to other countries. And I think Southeast Asia is rife with opportunity for these guys to spread their corruption. So if you live in Bali, buddy,
where facts matter,
be aware that corruption's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I am happy, you are happy, let us be happy together, whether the weather is cloudy or sunny. I will always be your funny honey bunny. I am lucky, you are lucky, let us get lucky together, whether the weather is cloudy or breezy. I'll be there to say, hey, come on, let's take it easy. Cause isn't it nice to have the friends that you do? And isn't it nice that the sky is so blue? And isn't it nice to say I love you, chugga chugga choo choo, woo woo. I am smiling, you are smiling, let us smile together, whether the weather is cloudy or stormy. I will still be there in the morning. I'll be right by your side in the morning. I'll make you breakfast in the morning. I hope that you like cereal.
That's funny. So we do have some really good news this week, is that our dear friend, the Major OJEDA, who's run OJEDAforNC.com, if you can contribute or you want to help him out, you can. His race has been moved from lean Republican to up for grabs, wherever that is up in the air. I'm blitzing on the phrase, but it's now it is a very strong chance that
toss
he
up.
indeed, it's a toss up. Yeah, that's a huge move considering the work he has been doing in the district, knocking doors and talking to people and doing the hard work of campaigning, which he absolutely has been doing. And compared to the Republican that currently runs the district, who doesn't set foot in the place, who's amazing to me, one of these folks who's like, the people in Washington need to know what y'all feel about. These people go up there and they get Washingtonized. They become part of the swamp or whatever. And then that's what they all do. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene, she would go to her house in her district and do her little videos and show up on Fox News and then go right back up to D.C. doing fundraisers and all that kind of stuff. When she was the number one fundraiser for Trump before she, was snapped over whatever particular betrayal. But they all do it. They all go there, and it's always struck me as funny that representatives I'm going to go to Washington, but I'm not going to be turned into Washington, or that we got to tell Washington what for. Well, then run for governor, dummy.
They did this in Little Abner.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
Corruption and them folks up in Washington don't understand us. Mm-hmm. It's been a mantra that has been used by opportunists in the Major's part of the world since. Hillbilly is is based on the William the Orange.
Yeah,
the British Civil War. This kind of this kind of baloney has gone on for a long time. I should really do something with the major. I really should.
Yes, please
do me a favor or have Andrea shoot him a message.
We will.
Let's do it. Let's do it sooner than later.
I think
it's
that's
long
wise.
overdue, and I think it would be beneficial for him, as well as myself, to talk about this, because I think he gets it. I think he understands that the threat from Putin is very much connected to the threat from Trump. And we need to get our act together collectively.
Agreed.
To fight against oligarchy, to fight against anti-Western liberal democracy movements that have been infected into our country by Moscow. So I gotta, it's long overdue. I talked to him, but God bless. I'm really happy to see him doing well.
Yeah, it was like the phrase I was looking for was not toss up. That's the one that got stuck in my head. It's in play, and that was officially where they moved it to, which means which is better than a toss up in many ways. But this is a great circumstance for him to be in. It's great for that race, and it's indicative of the direction that things are going. And he's a tough dude and a smart guy and a great human being. And I'm excited about the idea that he could very well take this seat in a formerly red district.
I also want to talk to Bridget Brink, who is running in Michigan's 7th district for Congress. I haven't checked up on how she's doing, but we have a lot of people who are up for the House that are very conscious of the threat from Russia, and we need to support those candidates because we have massive domestic problems in the United States. There is no doubt of that. I am well aware of that. I am a proud American. I live here in Ukraine because I believe that our cause is in common cause. And so those candidates who are speaking out about support for Ukraine, and also that we need to defend ourselves from Putin's kleptocracy and the oligarchy that has spread out in the post-Soviet age into the Western world. Those candidates that are up for positions in Congress or the Senate, if they are speaking out about the threat, the very real threat from Russia and Putin, those are the kind of people that I want to see put into power. Because if we can get American power to recognize the actual threat and the interference and the damage that is coming from Moscow, then we will all be in a better position because we will be resisting autocracy. And it's not just Trump. Trump is part of this global autocracy that Putin is, kind of at the top echelon of. And if we can start to push back against that by putting into power and into positions of, legislative power within the Congress, we should do it. And I know that Major Ojeda is one of those, and
absolutely. So one of the things that I follow on, just on a personal level regularly, is the war in Sudan and what's been happening there, and it's and part of the reason you set two sides against each other, which is Russia's main tool of soft power and in some cases hard power, either by herding people towards each other, handing guns to one group and telling the other group that the other group has guns and they're on the way, and therefore it set off this situation where people kill people who are unarmed, and then it sets off a revenge thing back and forth. That's happened all throughout Africa. They do this on the regular. It is not they didn't invent this strategy, I suppose, but they have perfected it, and it is one of their primary ones. But one of the things they're using to keep their economy afloat is gold from the Central African region. And Russia Russian this is one of many stories, but you can basically needle drop into this entire story in the region. Russian mercenaries take control of Eastern Central African Republic, and the image from it, of course, is children digging in dirty water with shovels that are effectively irrigation for gold mines in the area. Russian mercenaries have taken control of the border zone shared by the Central African Republic, South Sudan, and Sudan, effectively turning a region known for its gold mines into a gray zone controlled by a private military corporation. Russia's Lobya Invest, which is affiliated with the Wagner Group, controls mining operations in eastern Kar with little to no state presence in that region. It's basically lawless. They can do whatever they want. Several weeks ago, a miner at the Baba mine captured a gazelle that had been outfitted with a Russian surveillance camera. That action provoked a rapid, violent response from Russian mercenary forces. A barrage of weapons fire from both ground-based vehicles and from helicopters wounded 30 miners and sent others fleeing for safety in Sudan and South Sudan, potentially increasing instability and insecurity in those border regions, and never mind killing 30 innocent people in this process because somebody was catching food to eat and it happened to have a surveillance camera attached to it. The next day, bodies lay abandoned at the site while the local community was left to process what had happened, according to the Sudan Times. This bloody confrontation underscores the volatile and often deadly security vacuum in the region, where foreign forces exert aggressive control over lucrative mineral resources at the expense of local lives. Foreign forces, nothing. This is the Russians, full stop.
The Russians.
It's the Russians. It's not the South Koreans aren't doing this. There aren't any Belgians in the region right now. This is not something, left over from the transatlantic.
Go check out episode 33 of On the Edge, where I interview Philip Abaji, who is an African journalist, award-winning journalist, who has been researching for years Russian interference in Africa. It is shocking what they have been up to in Africa. And it's a great episode 33. Go check it out.
Yeah.
You'll learn about both the criminality of what they do with mineral wealth, but also the weaponization of migration, where they're forcing Africans into Europe to create a political and social conflict. It is orchestrated. Africa is definitely being used cynically by Moscow, almost as a colonial power, which is ironic for Africa, which has strived so long to, push off the shackles of colonial colonization. The Russians are moving in. So are the Chinese, but again, that's your bailiwick.
The Chinese part is largely through debt control, and it's on a more national level. The Wagner Group and the Russians, the way they do it is blood in the streets. And you can argue that the coordination between Russia and China about Africa is one of the most unspoken stories about all this, is that China will handle the big stuff, the big governmental stuff, and they'll divide the spoils. And Russia will kill anybody that gets in the way. They'll take care of the actual on the ground slaughter. And it's happening all the time. And again, we're not seeing any colleges shut down about it over here. It's pretty frustrating. But anyways, appreciate you both. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to Phil's channel.
I'm a little loopy.
It's okay. You're in a war zone. You have every right to be slightly shell shocked. We'll see you next week. I'll see you on Wednesday on the live stream at House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Everybody, take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else.
Take care of yourself. Thank you, Chicago.
Thanks, Chicago.
When I'm in the car, I'm always listening.
Awesome. Thank you, Chicago.
Yay.
He just waved. I saw him. All right. I will let both of you go just so Phil, you can get some sleep. And Johnny, you can, go see a man about a mule. I don't know what the...
you know it.
Thank you so much. Just Me, Julie, thank you so much for the super chat. That's amazing. And And Gen X, thank you so much. And PNM, there was a little bit. I heard that an NPR story that this morning about nuclear plants along the Danube not having enough water to run due to the heat and drought. How's the Dnieper water level? Was one of the questions
I haven't heard
too.
anything about that.
Yeah, I think that's an ongoing
I don't know
concern, but there's nothing acute that I've seen about it.
Nothing specific
but
this week.
But it's not.
But again, I'm not.
It ain't good.
I'm not at 100% this week. So
understood. All right. Appreciate you.
Tell the major. I really
we'll make it happen.
I'm deadly serious about that. We gotta do this. It's long overdue. So shoot him I'll shoot him a message. If you could do the same, that'd be great.
I would love to do
All
that.
right, guys.
I will do something. All right.
I'm going to try and finish up this week's episode is really, really sweet. There are these two. It's both their second marriages. They're Gen Xers, living north of Toronto, and they're just sweet. And all they're doing is sending postcards. That's all they're doing. It's like the smallest thing in the world, but it is having this massive effect. So it's a beautiful, heart-touching story, and I hope people will watch it.
Great. Appreciate it, brother. All right. Take care. See you later. And Johnny, are you up to anything untoward in the near future? Do you have a show coming up or anything?
I got a couple of days off next week that I'm really looking forward to. Off my
What's that like?
I'll let you know when I get there.
Yeah, please, tell me when you're on the other side of it. That's good. All right. Can I just take a moment, Johnny Million, if I could, and I think that I can, to tell you how much I appreciate you and how wonderful I think you are. And I'm lucky to count you as a friend. And also, you're a goofy bastard. And also, which is why we get along as well as we do, I think. And
dittos all around.
That's right. So I just wanted to be abundantly clear that I appreciate you, as does everybody in my chat room. And we're just going to make the point of that. And you just have to deal with that. And that's the thing. And I just needed to bring that up for my own personal
need. I can't wait to see pictures of the new house and all the new digs.
It's a mess. It's a lot of boxes, and we have a truck today just to go over and get I did a guitar carryover. I don't have cases for a lot of things, so I'm laying them on blankets and most of them got moved over yesterday in 118 degree heat. So I'm running them out to the car as fast as I can, driving over, running them back in the house because I don't want them to be cooking in that, which is always the hard part. So now it's just remnants of stuff. And then we really do have one of those moments that come along relatively infrequently where you get to purge stuff from your, we should really get rid of this, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And in some cases I over purge, and in other cases I move unopened boxes 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. I don't have that. Summer has this thing, which is a lot more, I guess, frequent, where she's like, "This is stuff you haven't touched in a long time." I'm like, "'Cause I don't have anywhere to set it up." It's a different thing for me. I have this I genuinely need some of my tools require space. God damn it, and so it's I get you don't want to be too cluttered, but other stuff is I finally have access to some of my tools because the garage here is bigger by one thing, a half a size bigger than the one we have. So I can actually do crafts. There's so much more room for activities. That's right. All right. I'll let you go, brother. You're awesome.
To that one.
I know. Appreciate you. I will see you later.
Love you, Hal.
Okay. Love you too. Johnny Million, everybody. Give it up for Johnny Million. Working his tuchus off, needing a vacation. Can't say I blame him. I'm going to bring the chat room in. I'm going to make it larger than this, and then I'm going to move this back to here and put this into here. And is this, yeah? Oh, I see. The chat goes in here. There you go. Whoops. Copy the chat goes in. There you go. There. That's better. I don't know what was going on. What's happening, people? There we go. Yeah, pretty good show today, considering. I think like there was a little like the audio got crackly when CPT joined, made me very nervous for a moment, but then it cleared up really quickly. So I think it was a volume issue on their end. Piece by piece. That's Mom on Live. That's what we're doing. Yes, go see Trucker John up next, and I'm gonna keep hammering away at our system. Summer and I have to go get a U-Haul, like a little van, and we're gonna go pick up some stuff and bring it the sort of the final load. Dun 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 ish. I have no doubt there'll be more stuff, but appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for the super chats. I greatly appreciate it. Love you too. Just Julie K. This should be bigger. Let's see. How do you drag this out like this and then square this up? And then is there a way to block that? Make this taller? Nope. It just stretches it. Okay. Well, I'm trying. I'm doing my best. There we go. Put this up here. Yeah. And then I'll put this over here, and I'd have to make it. I think I have to make it bigger. This is the thing in there. Scroll up, you rat. Oh yeah, I can't. I got to figure out how to reshape these comment windows so they actually work. And thank you, PMB, and there you go. And thank you, Jen, as well. Jen, I disagree about Ossoff, but again, this has to do with Georgia. Again, if you're going to get elected in Georgia, you're not going to be an AOC. It's not how it works. We have a representative democracy. So if he ran on all of those things, we wouldn't even be talking about him as a candidate in Georgia. And then, whoops, sorry, coming back to live mode. Here we go. And thank you so much, Lisa, Mia Moore. And Hal Vickery, bless you. Merry August to you as well, sir. And these didn't go up, did they? There you go. Thank you, PMNP. Fun facts, I'll figure it out how to say it. And Jen, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I was trying to show this one. Where is it? He doesn't support Medicare for all, getting money out of politics, abolishing ICE, and many, many other things. Also, the quote, getting money out of politics, part of it or whatever, like he's for the repeal of Citizens United. I'm not quite sure what that means in particular, but the idea that Ossoff is a bad choice is, I mean, it's not even on, it doesn't even chart. I appreciate what you're saying, just I respectfully disagree. And I'm going to let you guys, let's see, we're going to raid, are we raiding Trucker John? Is that what we're doing? All right, and then I have where's my sound? There. Yep, we're going to do that. Bless you. Thank you guys so much. I might jump on tomorrow afternoon and test my setup. Thank you for the Facebook. Give me angry emojis. Don't forget to like and all that stuff. And I will see you guys. There we go. All right. Wish me luck.
Wall still warm with a ghost of us. Name in my mouth cuts too much. Half a thought and it folds in two. Like a bruise leaves its mark on you. Don't hurt in my shaking hand. Know something I don't understand. Like ghosting at the edge of me. Something there that I just can't see. Just me. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where I don't belong. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where it feels so it's the same sad song, empty space that was here all along. Every step is a borrowed shape, every second a vain escape. Laughter crying